But anyway, on answering that question, first priority is really for the strengthening of the peace mechanisms. Because there are various peace mechanisms. You have to strengthen that in order to help to succeed in the negotiation. I think we have to strengthen the peace mechanism. And if we remember, and I think and Professor Miriam Ferrer Coronel is here with me, and of course, Dato Mike Mastura is over there, and they can probably vouch me in this regard. At one time in the past, up to the time of Professor Ferrer, it started with Secretary Silvestre Afable, and that the functions of the peace panel of government and that of the OPAP are separated from each other, even in terms of funding, in terms of taking instructions from the Office of the President. So I would like to come up with some suggestion without necessarily delving into the internal affairs of government. But since we are talking about top 3 priorities, then I would like to suggest that it would be the demarcation line between the functions of PAPRO and that of the panel should be clearly stated, because even on the part of the MILF, we are confused. We are confused because PAPRO and the panel are operating on the same area, but sometimes we find some difficulties in dealing with the two, because UPAPRO is formally a government agency, while the panel, although to a certain extent it is also a government agency, but it has a very special task of negotiating with the Moro Islamic Liberation Front. So that's my first suggestion as one of the 3 priorities: strengthen the peace mechanism. The second is rebuild trust and confidence. We know that trust and confidence is very, very hard to secure. It takes a long process before you can have trust and confidence. And it is as simple as saying that to start building trust and confidence in a very simpler way, as I said, is that if I promise you something, you keep that promise, comply with that promise. If I owe something to you, then try to comply with. I'll try to comply with my promise. So that's how trust and confidence is going to be built up. But that's the simpler way to look at it. But the issue right now is very complex. It is made up of so many interrelated processes, and therefore that adds to the difficulty in really raising the trust and confidence between the two parties. And that's it. Then, you know, one issue, I have to be very frank with you, one issue that we cannot understand up to this point is why the international monitoring team is not returned to Mindanao. It's not returned to Mindanao. I think the last time it was in 2022, but until now it's not returned to Mindanao. And in fact, when you look at the comprehensive agreement on the Bangsamoro, it says that although it is renewed annually, but it is up to the signing of the exit agreement. The third one, ensure political stability and continuity. Meaning, in order to have a stabilized peace situation in Mindanao in relation to the peace process, then we need to help one another. The MILF has to help the government in a way, although government is a government, but the government has to help the MILF in some other ways, because they are partners. They are partners. And in no way, for instance, on the part of the MILF, that will undermine the integrity of the government. And on the side of the government, in no way that the government should undermine the integrity of the MILF, although I'm not saying that government is doing that, but this is very important. So meaning, what I'm trying to recommend as top 3 priorities to guide the next phase of the peace building in Mindanao, strengthen the peace mechanism, rebuild trust and confidence, ensure political stability and continuity.